Welcome to our final heat of the All-Stars Championships, and only one non-flipper machine and one newcomer to Robot Wars. Expect a flipping good time tonight as we head down to the battle board and see how it all lines up. Coming up, we'll be seeing the flipper of Bigger Brother up against the flipper of CO2 New Machine that made the second round of the semi-finals. Razor, our fourth seed, with a crushing beak up against the CO2 Power flipper of Bulldog Breed. But first, a grudge match from Robot Wars Series 1 with the CO2 Power flipper of Chaos 2 and the flipping arm of Firestorm. Chaos 2 Flipper. They had a very dominant heat before falling in the semi-finals. The flipper is very strong and the bot is fast and nippy, but it isn't great at shoving other machines, and there is quite a high ground clearance. Firestorm Flipper. Quite a surprise that they didn't go further than what they actually did. Smidsy were the ones to put an end to that. The low front is designed to make the machine able to easily get underneath any other machine for the front flipping arm, but there is a high ground clearance at the rear, and the arm is very slow.
Roboteers, stand by.
Chaos 2 with the CO2 powered flipper formidable. And Firestorm with the front flipping arm and the rear spike.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Go.
They fought before as well, actually, in the last wars, when Firestorm went by Snowstorm and Chaos 2 flipping Firestorm like they did Snowstorm. And right now this seems to be going the same way it did in the last wars, with Chaos 2 flipping Firestorm, and said Snowstorm, and giving them grief and trouble. And Firestorm, well, we know they can self-right, but they're really struggling here. Chaos 2! I think Chaos 2 is trying to get Firestorm out of the arena. That's what they did to Snowstorm in the last wars. And Firestorm are in trouble. And Chaos 2 now with a good flip! And up they go! And that's the end of Firestorm! Flipped out of the arena and into the loser's melee. Well done, Chaos 2! And that went just as it did in the last wars. Over and out in a trice. Chaos 2, they go through. Next up, the crushing beak of Razor and the flipper of Bulldog Breed. Razor Crusher. They did fantastic in making the grand finals for the second time in the main competition. The 9 tons of squeezability have caused problems for many competitors, and the speed has seriously helped, but the exposed wheels can be seriously damaged, and the self-rating is very slow. Bulldog Breed Flipper. We thought they could go far in the last wars, and they showed it by reaching the semi-finals before getting flipped out of the arena by Sub-Zero and then being beaten to a pulp in the loser's melee. The flipper is very powerful and the drive is quite fast, combined with tough armor, but there is a limited gas supply and there is a very slight ground clearance.
Roboteers, stand by.
Razor with the crushing beak, 9 tons of squeezability. And Bulldog Breed with the CO2 powered flipper. Did very well in this competition.
2, 1. Activate.
Go.
They did very well in Series 2. We always knew they could do well. It's a shame what happened to them in Series 1 as they throw Razor up into the air. And again, Razor's wings expanding away. Oh! But now Bulldog Breed flipped themselves! And nearly flung Razor there with a stream mech. Look at this! In goes Bulldog Breed. They missed that flip. Flipped themselves, but right to themselves very fluently. Almost had Razor over there, I think. Now Razor, Bulldog Breed, flips. Gets the weapon wrong. And that's great use of the wings, Razor! As Bulldog Breed flops into the pit, fires the weapon, and flips themselves out. Well done, Bulldog Breed. I'm pretty sure you're still out, though. We'll have to get to the judges for that one. Meanwhile, look at this. Here comes Bulldog Breed. There, a great flip on Razor, sending them far away. of course, Razor's now righted. Bulldog Breed, again, flips themselves over. We've seen that a few times with the flippers in this competition. But Bulldog Breed definitely giving problems to Razor. But I think are now starting to run low on CO2, and that's a problem there. And now Razor has hold and pushes Bulldog Breed towards the pit and drops them down into it. And there's no chance for Bulldog Breed coming out of that as Caesar's called. And it's Razor who goes through to the next round with Bulldog Breed crashing out and ending up in the loser's melee. Bit of a shame, really, because truth be told, they were far more dominant in this fight than Razor was, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Next up, Bigger Brother and Siege. Bigger Brother. Flipper. They managed to pull a major surprise by knocking out the 5th seed Giovatono before falling in the semis to Razor and then Earthquake in the loser's melee. The Flipper is very powerful, the armor is very tough and durable, the drive is fast, and there's not really a lot going against this machine apart from the CO2 supply. Siege. Flipper. Well, we've heard of attacking the castle, but what about a castle that attacks you? The front passage to the castle's gate will throw you into the air as well as right itself if thrown over. Although it is a bit sluggish compared to most of the competitors, and there's a limited CO2 gas supply.
Roboteers, stand by.
Bigger Brother with the CO2 powered Flipper. And the surprise package of Series 2 Siege with their own CO2 powered Flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Siege not as quick as Bigger Brother, but has just as good a Flipper, and are able to get underneath Bigger Brother as well and throw them up and over. And Bigger Brother needs to seriously come back around. It's not going to happen. They're out. And that's a great attack from Siege. And that's a very quick and efficient victory. Over and out in hardly any time at all. Siege. I don't think Siege needed to do anything. Well controlled, well timed, and they didn't seem like they had much of a bother, really. Siege is through. This is our losers melee. Bigger Brother, Bulldog Breed, and Firestorm. Which one of these machines will be progressing back into the competition to face Siege for a shot in the grand finals and the heat final of today's heat?
Roboteers, stand by.
Firestorm with the lifting arm and rear spike. Bulldog Breed with the CO2 powered Flipper. And Bigger Brother with their own CO2 powered Flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Who will come out on top of this one? Firestorm ramping up the front of Bigger Brother and now flung up and over and trying to right themselves, but they can't. Bulldog Breed lends a helping hand with that, only to throw them away. And now Firestorm underneath Bulldog Breed, not firing their weapon though, interestingly enough. Bigger Brother. Now free, flung away by Bulldog Breed, and again Firestorm now gets the flipping arm in and are thrown up against the wall and trying to right themselves. How to right themselves? Bulldog Breed flipping away at Bigger Brother. Firestorm finally gets themselves back onto the wheels to rejoin the fight. Bulldog Breed flipping away. But oh no! And now Bulldog Breed's in the pit! Well, that's the end of that. Look at this. I think it's as if Bigger Brother bounces off Firestorm, it threw them off into the pit, and then Bulldog Breed decided to join them. Brilliant. So, Bigger Brother, they are back in the fight. Well, definitely a interesting turn of events. Poor Firestorm, and poor Bulldog Breed too. This is our round 2 lineup, however. Bigger Brother, they're back fighting Siege. Can they get their revenge? We'll have to wait and see, but first up, it's the Flipper of Chaos 2 against the Crushing Beak of Razor, and these two fought each other before in the last wars as well.
Robot ears, stand by.
Chaos 2 with the CO2 powered Flipper against Razor with the Crushing Beak and 9 tons of squeeze ability against the formidable Flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Go.
Two very different machines, two very great robots, and Razor already crushing down on the Flipper of Chaos 2. And Chaos 2 are in trouble. They fought before as well, don't forget, in Series 1 in the Grand Finals. This might be Razor trying to get retribution for what happened. But can Chaos 2 come back? Yes, they can. Throws Razor up and over. And now pushing him away. And down into the pit. And that's the end of Razor. Down and out. A great flip there. Rolled into the pit of oblivion. And Razor are gone out of the competition. Well done, Chaos 2. A really good flip. Is Razor trying to flip them? I think Razor's trying to come out here. Chaos 2's like, no thank you.
Cease.
Chaos is like, go back in. You're not coming out. Oh, Chaos 2 through. Lovely. Bit of Razor trying to pull themselves out. Not gonna work. You're out. Next up, Siege and Bigger Brother.
Robot ears, stand by.
Siege with the CO2 powered Flipper, and Bigger Brother with their own CO2 powered Flipper. What lessons have Bigger Brother learned from the first
3,
fight?
2,
3, 2,
1.
1.
Activate.
Go.
Will Bigger Brother find a way? Yes, they will. They'll find a way to get underneath the Flipper of Siege and cause Siege to go back against the wall. Now, how will Siege come back from this? Firestorm? Firestorm's not here. Siege flipping Bigger Brother. And now Bigger Brother's stuck against the wall, and up they go. Just like they did in the first fight, Siege underneath them, throwing them up and out the arena. And poor Bigger Brother, no answer, no comeback. They are gone. Siege through. I love that. I love it when flippers do that. Look at this. Siege flips themselves up and over, and then they flip themselves onto their flipper. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does. That's one of the reasons I love making this show. Reasons like that. Siege, they go through to the Heat Final, and they'll be facing off against Chaos 2. This should be very interesting, especially with the low front of Chaos 2, and the low front of Siege as well. It's all a matter of ground clearance and better drive. The final Heat Final of the All-Stars between Chaos 2 and Siege. Quick reminder how they got here. Chaos 2 took on Firestorm, very dominantly as well, I should point out. Firestorm couldn't really do anything against the Flipper of Chaos 2. Almost had Firestorm at the arena there, not quite the right angle. Then underneath and flip, and got them out there. That was the end of Firestorm. And then Razor, who they struggled with at first. Razor got underneath them, tried crushing into the Flipper, not effective. And then Chaos 2 underneath Razor, flipped them up and over. And Razor's Stream Mech struggled, and then Chaos 2 pooped them down into the pit. Siege, meanwhile, had to fight Bigger Brother, actually. Twice. This was the first attack. Flipped, flung out the arena, that was the end of them. The second attack, though, Bigger Brother slammed them into the wall, got underneath the Flipper as well, but Siege managed to get away, flipped them up onto the wall, and then flipped out the arena, And once again, Bigger Brother gone. And then Siege flipped themselves up and over, and then beached themselves on their own weapon.
Roboteers, stand by.
Chaos 2 with the CO2 powered flipper, and Siege with their own CO2 powered flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Who has the better flipper? That's the question, and Chaos 2 feeling the full force of Siege's flipper. But now, Chaos 2 flipping Siege up and over. Siege rights themselves. Or was that Chaos 2? I am not too sure. Chaos 2 flipped up and over once again. Self-rights, flung away again, and self-right and flung away, and now into the pit. And it's Chaos 2. They cannot get out of there. And Siege, oh, a joint effort there. Self-rating Chaos 2 plus flipping Siege gets Chaos 2 back into the fray. Now, Siege, again flipping Chaos 2 and throwing them up and over. And you can just hear that noise there. That's the canister for Chaos 2, which has run out of gas. They're in the pit again. And the Siege trying to get them out the pit again. I think this is Siege toying or playing with Chaos 2. It's kind of mean, actually, if you think about it. Nearly. And now, see, they flipped themselves into the pit. Look at this. Trying to get Chaos 2 out the pit. Almost threw themselves down that time. This time they get Chaos 2 out, but they fall in themselves. Well, Chaos 2 can still move, but I don't think there's much life left. Up and over. One final assault. But Siege may be in the pit, but Chaos 2, they are well and truly out of it. Siege through to the grand finals. Major upset as Chaos 2 crashes out and ends up down the pit as Siege surprises everyone by making the grand finals. They make the series semi-finals in the main competition, and after their performance in this competition, their majors upset the entire championship. It'll be great fun seeing them in the grand finals, but until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.